Okay, so the students in second grade have been learning multiple ways to do a bar model. We've learned how to do part whole bar models, and we've learned how to do a comparing bar model. So right now I have two different kinds of bar models, bar model word problems. I have one word problem that is going to be a comparing bar model, and one bar model word problem that's going to be part whole. So the first thing that I want to do with you right now is take a look at some of the words in the word stories. So let's look at problem number 7 first. It says a fruit seller has 140 strawberries. He has 29 fewer pears than strawberries. How many pears does he have? So in this, we're looking at two different kinds of fruit. We're looking at strawberries, and we're also looking at pears. So I have one number that represents how many strawberries they have, and in the question, I'm looking for the number that represents the pears. So right here, the fact that I'm looking for two different kinds of sets, that's going to tell me that this is comparing. I'm comparing how many strawberries I have to how many pears I have. When you're doing a comparing bar model, you don't put the bars side by side together. You put one on top of the other to compare how much longer or how much shorter one of the bars is compared to the other. So I'm going to draw two bars. One slightly shorter than the other. So now I'm going to go back and take a look at my word problem. It says a fruit seller has 140 strawberries. He has 29 fewer pears. That's going to let me know that he has fewer pears than strawberries. So I'm going to make sure that the pears bar is smaller or shorter than the strawberries bar. So here's the pears, and here's the strawberry bar. I'm going to abbreviate strawberry just to save us on time. So now I'm going to reread it one more time. Make sure that when you're reading a word problem with your students, you read it multiple times. You're not going to understand what to do after the first time you read it. You're going to have to read it multiple times. So it says a fruit seller has 140 strawberries. So I already said that this bar represents how many strawberries I have. So I can tell you right now from the word story, it tells me the fruit seller has 140 strawberries. So this bar represents 140. Now, I'm also going to be looking for how many pears, and it's also asking what the difference is. Remember, when you're comparing two things, you're looking at similarities and the difference. So I have how many strawberries I have. I need to know how many pears I have, and I can fill in the rest of the blanks by saying how many fewer pears than strawberries. So if I'm looking at the two bars, I notice that the pears is shorter. So the difference between how many pears and how many strawberries is 29. Looking back at the word problem, I noticed that there were 29 fewer pears than strawberries. And then the question is asking, how many pears does he have? So I don't know how many pears there are in this problem. After you fill in the bar model, you then do your number bond. So you have part whole, and you look. Remember the strategy that we used for the part total? We looked here and we said there are two numbers. Those two numbers equal part and part. So the number up at the top, the number that's alone, represents the whole. So I have question mark for one of my parts, I have 29 for one of my parts, and I have 140 for my whole. As soon as the students get to this step, the students know that they are to write the facts for this fact family. I'm not going to write them now. Please look at another video or another tutorial on how to write the facts from a number bond. Now we're going to look at the next problem. Looking at number 3, we're going to look at some of the key words in this problem. So this one says there are 625 children in the lunchroom. 56 more children come to the lunchroom. How many children are in the lunchroom now? So the only thing that we're talking about are children in the lunchroom. So right now I'm going to draw this bar that represents children in the lunchroom. So we had 625 children in the lunchroom, and 56 more children come to the lunchroom. So this whole thing is going to represent how many children are in the lunchroom. So I'm looking at the question, how many children are in the lunchroom now? That I don't know. That's what I have to solve for. Then I look at the two numbers that are in my problem. It says 625 children are in the lunchroom, so that's what I started with. And then 56 more children come to the lunchroom. So my bar model is going to be represented by a part whole. I don't know the whole. The whole is what I'm solving for. Part of my problem is going to be what I started with, and the other part is going to be how many students came in after. So if we're looking back at the word problem, we started with 625 children. So 625 children is going to be represented by the longer part of the bar. Then 56 more children come to the lunchroom. So we have 56 children coming into the lunchroom. From this, the students can visually see part, whole. So they put that into their number bond. Part is 625, part is 56, and the whole we're solving for, we don't know, and that is represented by the question mark. Again, as soon as your students get to this step, the next step is to do the facts for the fact family. Please remember, these numbers are added together, and these numbers are subtracted. Hope this helps. Please email me if you have any questions.